Okay, ever since the end of Bonekickers, people have been asking me to review something stupid. Something that utterly failed. Something you find hard to believe you even got past the pilot. In short, something just like Bonekickers. Some people liked me talking about a flawed and interesting show that I really like, Adam Adamant Lives, and a show that's in parts maddeningly bad and amazingly good, urban gothic, but it seems what most of you want is me to shit on something for an extended period. Your message has been received, and shit has been loaded. This show, like Bonekickers, was created after the success of Doctor Who and Torchwood showed that homegrown sci-fi fantasy can actually have a home in the UK. I'm so very glad they didn't make this before Doctor Who, because if it had, then all the UK would have made for the next 40 years would have been soap operas, documentaries about how the Russians and Americans didn't help win World War II, and costume dramas about how owning the planet was fucking awesome. Like Bonekickers, this is mercifully short. 6 episodes. This is Demons. And this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. We open in a school, at least I think it's a school, there's a doorman. Which isn't very schoolish, but this woman goes into an office labelled Principal's PA. So I'm thinking school. There she comes across this small and non-threatening piece of CGI. Okay, first thing, why do we hear gears and motors and other mechanical shit over that thing? Either it's a cyborg and no one told the animators, or they used a mechanical model and painted over it with CGI and forgot to redub the audio, or someone's playing with a remote control car just off screen. I'm going with one. It simultaneously assumes both the worst and best about the makers. Tiny Gollum thing leaps into Pete Steele's jacket, and I'd comment about how someone, sometime, really should have noticed the long-haired, obviously prosthetic guy with sharp teeth and the long black coat, but I used to go out Vampire the Masquerade LARPing in England. And not one fuck is given about any of those things. The intro is boring, and the theme music sounds like the sort of shit that I'd put over the footage just to take the piss out of it.
Who's cooking monsters in the kitchen?
Is it really that hard to find something that fits? Something that even slightly screams, demonic! Here, I'll do your job for you.
You're running through the darkness.
The woman's dead and strangely in one piece for someone who was in a room that just exploded. Still, she has a bloody wrist, I don't know what I'm complaining about. Philip Glenister is checking through the rubble of the office. He's a demon hunter and... Series, you do remember that you showed a security guard about a minute's walk away from the office, right? It happened about 2 minutes ago. Was he killed by the same explosion that only caused a slightly bloody arm, or is he fucking deaf? Anyway, the police are arriving and Glenister's not supposed to be there, so...
Welcome to the Dark Ages.
So he takes the time to say a line that only exists to sound cool in a trailer. Joke's on them, this man is incapable of saying anything that sounds cool. Especially with that accent. Whatever the fuck it's supposed to be. I've heard it's supposed to be American, but I've heard American accents and they're not like that. He escapes the scene of an act of terrorism by way of some editing. It's marginally better than actually trying to show how he escapes anyway. I'm pretty sure it would be stupid. And suddenly we have a shirtless teen. What is this, the 70s version of the Tomorrow People? No, this is Luke. He's the last surviving descendant of Abraham Van Helsing who fought Dracula. This means that the strange man who broke into his house gets to cook breakfast. It also means that he's a natural demon hunter. Ignoring the fact that Van Helsing was actually a doctor and not a professional demon hunter, the idea that Van Helsing's descendants should be demon hunters is just silly. Thomas Paine had a great quote about this sort of thing that I'm paraphrasing. A hereditary demon hunter is as absurd a proposition as a hereditary doctor or mathematician. Now, in some things like this, it's treated like a family business, and so the younger generation is trained in it, and that's okay. But his dad's dead. He doesn't know shit, and he's going to get trained by Philip Glenister because of destiny. Thankfully, he's not going to be trained to speak in an American accent. That'd just be embarrassing. If Glenister needs to train someone to kill demons, then why not find someone with skills he could use? An ex-Special Forces guy who saw his wife eaten by Cthulhu might be a better candidate. But even the show worked out that this was a bit stupid and so invented the idea that all of Van Helsing's descendants have super strength and shit. They're basically a bloodline of Ubermensch slayers. As in, slayers who are Ubermensches. Not Ubermensches who kill slayers. Those would be demons, which is the name of the show. Anyway, Glenister demands to see Luke that night, and I find something I can't bitch about.
Tonight, my friend, the ladies can wait. Your godfather has spoken. 7:30, Royal Festival Hall. Meet me.
I'm not a big fan of Royal Festival Hall, but it's near about half a dozen things in London that I do like the Film Museum, the BFI, and a tourist shop with the friendly grey cat called Smokey that sits by the cash register. So Glenister is off to his hotel to sleep. Not too tired to stand around in buildings and escape the police, but when you could explain shit to someone, nah, then it's time to be enigmatic. So Luke has to cancel his night out with his best friend Ruby, taking time to look at some terrible Photoshop that's supposed to be Glenister and his dad. Still, could be worse, he could be in Dallas in 1963. We also discover that Brigham Young was actually Abraham Van Helsing. Dun dun dun! These deleted scenes from Harry Potter where Dobby tried to rape Harry were weird though. So, why did the demon thing only now decide to attack him? Did it detect that the series had just begun? Dobby's easily captured by the constantly shirtless lead guy and, for some reason, he doesn't show him off to Ruby.
You should call the council. They have men in vans to deal with this kind of thing.
Forget it. Listen.
Because, let's be fair, old photos are always much more interesting than cat monkeys that eat mops. So, over at Royal Festival Hall, Luke actually put on a shirt and is attending a concert. A packed concert by a famous pianist. Maybe it would have been nice to mention all this to him when telling him to be there at 7:30 to meet you, Glenister. What if he turned up in some sort of a hentai t-shirt? The pianist is Mina Harker from Dracula. Clearly in the 100+ years since she was played by Winona Ryder, she never remarried nor bothered to change her name. But it's not like someone in the public eye might arouse some sort of attention, is it? Hey lady, you have the same name as that woman in Dracula. You know, it's really weird that no one actually mentioned that to you before. She's a vampire because, like with Van Helsing being a professional demon hunter, they really don't care about the book they're ripping off. Still, could have been worse. Dracula could have been Judas Iscariot.
Somebody I'd like you to meet. Mina Harker, this is Luke. Luke Rutherford, hi.
Aha, quick flashes of footage from later on. Classic. So, why did she need to hold his hand to see that crap? She's not a touch telepath. She was wearing gloves.
You must believe even when it seems impossible.
Thank you, Mina. You were fabulous, as ever.
So, what exactly is Glenister's plan here? He breaks into Luke's house, speaks with an accent that sounds like the bastard child of not American and someone even less American. He's enigmatic, takes him to a piano concert, and has someone else be enigmatic at him. You could have just sat him down and explained everything, but no. You need to do random shit and then give him a speech while wandering through somewhere that looks way too run down and covered in graffiti to be anywhere near Royal Festival Hall. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure what kind of ism blindly hating supernatural beings is, but Philip Glenister is so it.
Like vampires and werewolves. We don't care to name them. We just grade them and smite them. You smite them? Oh, yes, sir. With extreme prejudice. Swiftly and surely. Like the wrath of God.
I wish there was a secret order dedicated to smiting people with terrible fake accents. It'd make me a little happier with my lot in life.
Is everything all right, sir? Do you want your bill?
If throwing up weird things in polite company is reason to be smited, then Carl Urban should have been killed at the end of The Truth About Demons. Which he should have been, but only because that film is really annoying. Anyway, Glenister takes Luke into the underground and shows how well balanced he is by killing a rat with a laser gun.
What are you doing? Pulse gun. You could have killed me. Works on microwaves. Everything has its perfect internal temperature. Oh, like an omelet. Exactly. For an entity, it's about 30 below. Warms them up pretty good, huh? Is this an entity? No, Luke. That is a rat.
So, mere minutes walk from the surface door, they enter the secret, sacred vault of the crazy rat-killing human supremacists, via a fob watch with a tiny 3D generator. Somehow, Luke, looking at it, helps him open the door. I don't know, this is stupid.
Shazam.
I have seen the 1940s Captain Marvel serial. Don't tempt me to watch something marginally less stupid instead.
Library of Abraham Van Helsing.
Amazing, considering according to the book, the guy lived in Amsterdam. Anything else you'd like to get wrong about Dracula? Maybe the century it was set in? Anyway, this whole place couldn't be reached for 200 years because of the ice in a meat market, and it was rediscovered back sometime before the 1990s, which means that they think Dracula was set before 1790. So they did get the century wrong. Now, in case you're wondering, no, I don't mind them having something the size of an aircraft hangar being below London and being forgot about. That city once lost an old wooden 19th century operating theatre for about a century. The thing I'm wondering about is how the fuck does that place have... Locations being forgotten is one thing, but the City of London not noticing an operation that large has tapped the grid? Bullshit. That place is huge, is filled with books, has a fuckload of lights, and has still working 20-year-old electronic equipment in it. This is right next to underground rivers. It needs a fuckload of climate control. Although I suppose everything could be powered by magic, like the door was. Anyway, Wesley Crusher has a message from his dad.
Everything you see around you is yours. Use it wisely.
You get it all, even though that means waiting until you're an adult, when Philip Glenister could have inherited and used all that shit to kill demons while you were growing up. But he doesn't have the special badass Van Helsing blood. Who would have thought that people obsessed with bloodlines with an interest in magic would be very into killing things for the crime of being different than them? I dub this show Magic Nazis the Series. Glenister explains that Luke's dad died during a mission and his mother doesn't know anything about any of this. Which is great, because the supernatural things know where Luke lives. They blew up his school just to give themselves away because they're stupid, and the script demands that he starts killing shit like the good little human supremacist that he wasn't raised to be but will be anyway.
Other people have a choice, you have a destiny, you're the last Van Helsing. Denial is not an option. Incredible. You ever ask yourself how you do that? Other people, they can't do that, Luke. It's in here, in the genes. Talk tomorrow.
I don't think so, Mr. Garvin. We've talked enough. You can't just hijack someone's life, okay?
I think you'll find that when you're in a TV series, the hijacking of someone's life eventually becomes inevitable. So we're about halfway through the episode and we're yet to see the real villain. This guy is good, but the Lon Chaney look stopped being scary about 2 weeks after he invented it, so he can't be the main villain. He's just too silly. And even the werechavs, who I assume are usually nerds, who upon the full moon suddenly feel the need to wear Burberry, be irritating and impregnate things, don't add up to threatening. In fact, if you combined Lon Chaney with the werechavs together, this comes in somewhere between Sully from Monsters Inc. and the were-cheetah people from Doctor Who's Survival and the Scary Monster Tote Board. Yeah, I'm sorry to dirty Buffy by using that here, but this show is basically a terrible version of Buffy, with Philip Glenister as a watcher. Wait, Glenister's character is even called Rupert, as in Rupert Giles. Fuck you, series, fuck you! It's not even just a terrible version of Buffy, it surgically removed the noteworthy things about it, the surface feminism, the clever dialogue, the frequently grey morality, and replaced them with, this guy is the best because of his genes! And the other things are literally subhuman and must be killed. Fuck this show. And this guy is made even less threatening because he can't work out what the fuck he's saying.
Someone was on the word with you, Luke. So be nice. Come quietly.
He gets pissed off when Glenister guns down his little creature, and I can understand why. The guy killed his demon. How's he going to bring down the Magisterium now? So even Lon Chaney knows that he's too crap to be the actual villain of the episode and runs off while the cast get together to discuss the important things like who Ruby is.
Who is she? Who am I?
I am clearly the person who is single-handedly stopping this from being a total sausage fest. Yeah, I read you, bitch. I've also got stupid hair. They explain everything to Ruby. Luckily for us, they give her the Cliff Notes version, which doesn't even elicit a single follow-up question.
Luke is the last Van Helsing. The Inhumans want to kill him and you don't tell anybody.
Don't get me wrong, I'm happy we don't have another 5-minute scene explaining what the fuck is going on, but couldn't they have done something a little more realistic, like acting like that made sense without any context? Even having her suddenly turn into a Valkyrie for no reason would have been better. They decide to check through the massive fucking library to find out who they're dealing with. Who is the man behind Lon Chaney? It's a bad sign when even the main characters think the villain they've faced so far is too shit to be the actual baddie for the episode. Oh, and Ruby is either suddenly psychic,
Luke, I have a really bad feeling about it.
or has just been written as a stock female supporting character who only exists to be in love with the male lead and have intuition. I'm leaning towards the latter, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, she gets taken home, even though the monsters saw her with Luke and Glenister. Apparently the fact that they kidnap her as soon as she's alone is as big a surprise to them as it is to her. Why? Because they're all as fucking stupid as each other. Anyway, finally we get a villain. Prepare yourself.
Do you know who I am?
You appear to be comedy actor Mackenzie Crook dressed like one of the flying fuckheads from Highlander 2.
Do you have any idea what has befallen you?
A terrible marriage of awful ideas, bad casting, questionable design and mangled execution? And what the fuck? That nose. I've never seen a vampire mated with a cockatoo before, and I suppose I should thank them for that. Thank you for that, you terrible jackasses. Mina Harker, because she's still psychic for some reason, fondles some of Lon Chaney's vomited up crap and sees the same shots she saw of Mackenzie Crook from earlier. So when she shook Luke's hand, she foresaw that she'd find this out now. Isn't that a bit unnecessary?
His name's Thrip.
Oh, it's very necessary because she now remembers what his name is. On with the finale!
Okay, you're safe. I've got you.
I'm sorry, dear boy. Forgive me, but your face, it's a picture.
And your face is a picture of a Skeksis from the Dark Crystal as drawn by Francis Bacon. But shit. Luke gets knocked out, Glenister kills Lon Chaney, and there's a terrifyingly dramatic standoff where Philip Glenister seems to forget that he's holding a gun which kills demons. Shoot, you idiot! End the episode.
Oh, scary. My turn.
Killer breath. That's a new one. Mackenzie Crook grabs Ruby, Luke aims a totally different gun at him, and we get some shit about always believing even when it seems impossible. Which I'm sure will really help in every situation.
Shoot, Luke. She'll be okay.
What?
Shoot her, and then shoot him. You must believe, Luke, even when it seems impossible.
I believe that we can jump across this, but that's impossible. Exactly. I believe. So he shoots her and she's okay, either because of belief being brilliant, or possibly because they mentioned earlier that their weapons don't kill humans. Take your pick. And Mackenzie Crook finally remembers that he was shot with a gun that kills monsters like him. Glenister alters Luke's medical records and names himself as his doctor so he can get him out of class to kill things when needed, and the episode mercifully ends with Luke chucking his schoolwork out of the car because who needs school when you get to kill sentient beings? Fuck, this is bad. I'd heard stories about it, that it was the worst thing to come out of British television since Bonekickers, and they weren't wrong. Almost everything is a complete misstep. The casting, the acting, the makeup, the design, the script, the direction. The only stuff that wasn't entirely terrible was Luke, Ruby and Mina, and they were pretty fucking bad. I did not expect the screwed up ethics. The heroes are a cross between the Crusaders and the Thule Society, except the things they slaughter are supposed to be literally an entire race of evil beings. Except for Mina, of course. She's attractive and therefore not evil. That was Demons Episode 1, and it hurt me more than it hurt you.
We have sinned so